to call your XML file into your activity, right? So like this. And so if I'm going to call, if I'm going to working with this, when I click on this show method, means here I am going to implement some event handling for this button. So how I am going to call this button in my activity? So if you are going to call any type of view components in your activity, you have to declare that for that view component you have declared what ma ID. So based on ID only you are going to call this view component in your activity. So at the rate plus ID slash, so you have to give it what ma name of that button, that is btn show ma. So btn show is a naming convention we have to follow for view components ma. And so we have here what ma text view. For this one also I'm going to declare what ma ID. So at the rate plus ID TV show. So TV show is a name, TV is a naming convention for text view, and we are declaring for that name as what ma TV show, or you can go with what TV name ma. Okay, so I'm going to declare this text view and what this button ma. So in my activity, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to declare what ma text view TV name, and we are going to declare what ma button, that is btn show. So this two we are going to call as declaration of view components. What is that? Declaration of what ma view components. Okay, declaration of what ma view components. So once you declare your view components, one more thing, declaration will be done in outside of the onCreate method inside of the class. So once you declare your view components, you have to initialize the view components somehow. That is what initialize view components. Okay, you can go with initialization of view components. Initialization of what ma view components. So here I am going to take one method called initialize view controls. Initialize what ma view controls. I'm going to create one method amma. So how to create a method over here? It's very simple amma. Put the cursor on red line. Put the cursor on where ma red line. Alt enter. What is that? Alt enter. So it asking you for what ma create a method or not? Create a method, right? Just click on this one, your method will be created over there. So inside this method you have to initialize your view component summa. That is what first we have to initialize what ma button show. So how I am going to call this ID? How I am going to call this ID in my activity? So if you are going to call your XML ID into your activity, for that we have a method called find view by ID. In the name itself we have meaning amma, that is I am finding my view ID. So how I am going to find my view ID ma? Resource dot id dot btn show. So we need to typecast this. So again put the cursor on red line, alt enter, cast to button type amma. So and the same way we can go for what ma TV name equal to find view by ID or dot id dot TV name amma. So after that we can go for what typecast to text view. So after that we have to go for button show. So I need to apply what ma event handling, right? So I'm going to apply what event handling, like we can call like this one as what on click listeners. What is that? On click listener summa, on click listeners. So how I'm going to apply on click listener for what? Button show. That is button show dot set on click listener of. Okay, you have to pass what ma context over there, that is what this. So set on click listener is a interface in this interface contains one abstract method, that is what on click method. Means you have to import that on click method in this interface, from this interface. That is what alt put the cursor on red line, alt enter, that is makes main activity implements what on click listener. We have to import what method amma? On click. This on click is a abstract method amma. Okay, like this. So when I click on this button, so whatever the text we have, I'm going to get this text over here amma. That is, see here, TV name dot get text amma, get text dot to string. So here why I am going to convert this one into string. Already have a question that I already declared this one as a string, but why I am going to convert this one again into string amma. See, you declared this one as in where ma? XML. So whatever the text you declared in your XML, the text is not by default string amma. The text is by default this one as what ma? Character sequence. So we need to convert this character sequence into what ma? String, and I am going to save in where ma? String variable, that is what? String name. So whatever the name we have to get, I am going to display this name in where ma? Toast, like this. Toast is a class that contains a method called make text. So this method having three parameters, one is context and second one is text and third one is what ma? Duration. So context is nothing but a current class reference. So wherever you can see in our Android, wherever you can see as a context in our methods like that, in our application like that, so you have to keep in your mind is context is nothing but our class reference name. So here what is the context over here ma? So class reference name, that is what? Main activity dot this, and we have to given what ma? Text. What is the text over here? Name, that is what? Name amma. After that you have to call what? Duration, that is toast. In toast class we have two things over there ma? Length short and length long amma. So length short for just for 2 seconds like that I'm going to display. After that automatically it will be dismiss amma. And dot show, suppose if you can't write dot show method, you can't able to display the text in where ma? Toast. Okay, next. So once I done with this, I need to test this application. So once I test the application, I need what ma? Emulator. So go to first you have to create what ma? Emulator. So go to the tools and select Android and what? AVD manager. So just click on the AVD manager amma. So as of now I am going to delete the previous things over there. Okay, like this. First I need to create a new virtual device, that is what? Create virtual device amma. Just click on the create virtual device. So here we have a category amma. So in the category we have a selected, if we are going to test the application in TV, you have to select the TV over there amma. Right now we are testing the application in where ma? Phone. Just select the phone as a category and name amma. For that device, what type of device you required, means what type of size for you required, what the resolution we required, what the density pixel we required amma. So here I am going to select my device as Nexus 6 amma. For the Nexus 6, what is the size of the device amma? 5.9 inches screen amma, screen size amma. After that, what is the resolution amma? Width into height, that is what? 1440 into 2560 amma, that is what? Width into height resolution amma, and that is what? 560 dpi density pixel size amma, that is what? Okay, that is what we will see here. We will see here, that is your screen size over here amma. Okay, and just click on the next button amma. So for that device, what type of version you required? If you need a latest version, that is Nougat, so you have to select this one as what ma? Nougat version. Okay, so you will go with what ma? x86 images amma. So for that you have to declare over there. We can with other images, you have to use what? Other images also, but we can recommend it as what ma? So Nougat, like this. So I'm going to click on the next button amma. Okay, so I'm going to give my AVD name as, I'm going to select the AVD name as sample tester device. What is that? Sample tester device. So what is the device ma? You selected over there ma? 5.9 inches screen. So like this, if you need it, if you have to change, you have to change this one ma. Okay, for that device, what is the version ma? Android, and that is what? Nougat. So if you can change this one, we can change over here. Otherwise, we can close this. Okay, after that, so startup size ma, that is what? Scale, automatic radiation, auto links over there. Orientation ma, if you need a portrait or what? Landscape, by default what ma? Portrait itself. Okay, emulated performance ma, so you can go with hardwares and softwares like that. We can select as a auto fit for things over there ma. And so here we have a show advanced settings. Just click on this one. So in the show advanced settings over here, so if you need a camera front and back, you can select the front end camera, but by default for emulators we no need of working with what my front camera and back camera like that. So speed full and latency is there, gravity is there, and for memory card and storage for this device, how much of RAM we required for that device, what is the virtual memory heap area, and what is the internal storage area we required. So you have to select this one, and we have SD card size over there. We have to define here the entire stuff over here. Okay, so finally I am going to click on the finish button over here. See here, I'm going to click on what? Finish button over here. Okay, it is starting what? Your creation of what? Saving of your AVD. So once you create your AVD, you have to start the AVD. Just use the start button, run button. Just click on the run button. Okay. So you have a message. We have some message called what? Starting AVD is there. So we have to close this one. No need of this one again. So you have to close this one. It will take some time to load the device over here. Once your device is set up over there, you have to run the application and you have to test the application over there. Okay. So this is what we are going it will take some time over here. So once it is done, so we have to apply the things over here. So our device is ready over here. So once you click on this one, whatever the setup we have here, everything will be displayed over here, right? So once your device is ready, I am going to test my application. So when you are going to test the application in your device, so you have to run this one. Just click on the run button. Okay, so here we have to, it asking you what must selected deployment target, right? So here we have to select what ma that device over there. It's a connected device over there, right? I'm going to select connected device is what my sample tested device. Just click on this one and click on what ma OK button. So your application will displaying. There's a Gradle is running over there. Okay, see here. So you say installing your APK over here, right? So once your APK is installed, it is asked, next it is what launching your activity. Once it is launching your activity, first we can get what ma your empty screen. After that we can load. We can get what ma here empty screen. We get first you get what ma empty screen. After that we have to get what ma your mobile screen. What are the screen we design over here? We can get the screen over there. See mo. We get what here ma? First we can get what ma? The screen, what are the screen we design over there, we'll get the screen over here, right? When I click on the show button, we'll get what ma? Person none. Hi guys, welcome to Android session. Means after 2 seconds or 2 to 3 seconds, it will be disappear over here. Understand ma? This is what first simple first application over here ma. Okay, that is what we design over here, right? Thank you guys.